Every year, like, I still get excited and I get the butterflies coming here.
Every day I meet new friends and have fun.
Double H means to me happiness, fun, love.
Double H is family.
The story of Double H goes back to two great visionaries, Mr. Charlie Wood and Mr. Paul Newman. And it was really Charlie Wood and his desire to duplicate what Paul Newman had done in Connecticut at the Hole in the Wall camp. Paul had no interest. The liability, the money, very happy with his initial camp.
Paul was of the character that if you really could get to him personally and connect with that passion, that just this unbridled commitment he had, it would go places. And that's what Charlie did, actually.
Charlie pursued his opportunity to meet with Paul Newman, which did happen back in 1992. And the way Charlie shared this with me is, you know, Newman, I'm never going to be as popular as you. I'm never going to have as much money as you. I'm certainly not going to be as good looking as you, but I want to help sick kids and I need your help.
There was something about Charlie's commitment, his spirit, that really connected with Paul. And Paul's attitude was that even if it didn't work out in a big way, if you touch the life of even just 100 children, you haven't lost.
It was a handshake agreement. That was how the partnership started. I was hired in January. We had till July 4th, 1993 to get the doors open. We just went for it. Charlie's vision for this organization, I think initially was driven by numbers. He wanted to serve as many children as possible. We opened our doors July 4th, 1993, very proudly. We had 4 children arrive. I think Charlie was disappointed, to say the least. I think he was expecting hundreds of kids. The bottom line is what we did not have was credibility.
For a lot of parents of seriously ill children, the concept of letting that child go someplace without them overnight for multiple nights in a row is unthinkable.
We recognized that we needed to establish a formal partnership with the Children's Hospital.
Max Urenda said, we have this camp about an hour away from here that's going to serve sick children in our region. And he said, we really need help with medical coverage for these kids while they're at camp.
At that particular point in time, Dr. Martha Leapow was our department chairman, and she came to my division and as pediatric hematologist oncologist and said, what do you guys think about this? And we said, it's an awesome idea.
We're driving up the Northway. I'll never forget Charlie's words. We failed. They're not going to call us back. There's no way. 3 days later, we got a call. Dr. Leapow had talked with the administration, the docs at the hospital. Not only are we going to support you, we're going to take over the entire initiative. I said, Mr. Wood, I'm not quite sure what that means, but it sounds really great.
This is like operating a hospital away from a hospital. And these folks devote their time and give their vacations to being at the camp and doing the work that needs to be done.
Without that partnership, Double H would not exist.
I could not send Gabe to a camp without a doctor or a nurse. So for me to be able to drop him off somewhere and know that he is completely in perfect hands is a pretty awesome thing.
Most of the things we deal with are camp-related problems, sore throats, bug bites, sprains, strains, bruises, cuts, that kind of thing. But we also have to keep in mind what the child's underlying problem is. So if a child has a clotting disorder and they bang their head, it's not the same as some other child who bangs their head.
There are 10 cabins. Each of those cabins has a nurse assigned to them. And then the physicians work alongside the nurses in what we call the body shop.
We can keep them in there overnight if we need to. We can give IV medications, IV fluids, antibiotics, whatever we need to do, with the goal of being to get that child back into camp activities as quickly as possible.
It all happens because of the dedication, the passion that all these medical professionals have giving of their time, taking their vacations to get up here to provide that service.
When you first get to Double H, you pull up into the parking lot. And when you pull into the parking lot, they're screaming and yelling and chanting, and they're crazy.
What happens when the children arrive at camp is best described as controlled chaos.
Right there in the parking lot is a huge mob of counselors cheering, clapping, waving, hugging everybody who arrives.
They're singing, they're yelling. Oh, it's great.
The big mission of camp is inclusion, and you feel that right as you drive into camp.
There's nothing like when you have a returning camper and you see them and you're like, well, they remember me from last year, and they do, and it fills you up inside with so much joy, and you're like, this is gonna be an awesome week.
And then you check in and you know, it's a camp for kids who are sick. So you take your stop at the nurse's station.
We sit down with the parents and go through their daily schedule, their meds, their special needs.
Then they're off and immediately go into camp activities. There's no downtime.
Camp is whatever it is that the child wants it to be.
We expose them to programs they may have imagined, but now they can do them.
It's got like an archery range and arts and crafts. It's got a little science center where you do science stuff.
They have a day at the Great Escape to go on the rides there. So they get to do a lot of things.
Our mission is to give these kids a chance to feel life.
Anything that the kids want to do, we figure out a way to do it within the right parameters, making sure that it's safe, and then let's get it done.
If we were gonna go to the archery range and I was like, yeah, archery is cool, but I really like fishing, they'd be like, then let's go fishing.
The Double H philosophy from a program standpoint is challenge by choice. We do not force kids into anything, but we give them challenge. We don't want to give everything to the kids on a silver platter. That's not life.
We have kids that can do things that I couldn't even begin to do.
The High Ropes Challenge course, which is probably the most empowering program that we offered to our kids, very controversial in the early years that we were going to be hurting sick children. So Paul Newman and his team came out to really kind of evaluate this whole thing.
Some of Paul's advisors told Paul, this is dangerous, you need to go see it, we need to tell him to shut it down. This is just not a good idea for these children. And Paul went up and was with Dad looking at it, and Paul turned around and said, best thing ever.
And I was looking up there and I said, this child who can't walk is flying. And I knew that it was a special place.
Camp was able to institute a few years ago, the first 2 sessions of the summer, there are some siblings there.
It was just incredible. You had that like kind of silent understanding between you and everybody else at camp that they get it.
We have the ability now to run year-round programs on site and also addressing the family in the spring and fall family support programs where the whole family gets to come to camp, reunite, and then we take our show on the road through hospital outreach.
Staff members from Double H are going out to local hospitals to kind of bring camp to the community.
We started up something called Camp Inspiration at the Double H. And what that is, it's a week in June that's set aside for children who require breathing devices to keep them alive. We get them up in a ropes course. We have them doing a lot of things that the regular campers do.
Based on resources and controlled growth through the years, we were able to start an adaptive winter sports program. It's the only privatized adaptive winter sports program of its kind in the country. It rivals any ski school in the country based on the certification of our instructors.
The goal there is to get families who maybe nobody in the family has ever done any type of winter ski or snowboard activity. By the end of that weekend, they're all skiing or snowboarding together.
What we have experienced is true growth. We are now serving 900 kids in our summer residential program, over 2,300 children and family members through our year-round services, which includes the family programs, the adaptive winter sports program, and our hospital outreach program. And over the years, we have created that reputation of excellence in everything we do. So what happens for our parents? They entrust us with the life of their child. Here you are, please bring my child back. For some parents, that week is horrible.
Parents are nervous that they're gonna miss their kid's gonna miss them, and how are they gonna fare being away from one another?
When you have a child with a life-threatening illness,
she gets to party when I'm at camp. So I think that's what she's trying to say. When I get to let loose, she gets to let loose.
Letting your child go to camp and you go do something else is very freeing.
The parents, when you see the joy in their face because they see their kids and how happy they are, that says it all.
These children arrive one way, being frightened, certainly they've got their issues.
Parents then, when they go for the pickup a week later, why won't my child get back in the car? You know, it's like, what happened here?
It's a major transformation. By the end of the week, these kids don't want to even go home, and they made such great friends and felt like a normal kid.
At the end of that week, the kids are indeed camp sick. They don't want to leave. There's tears being shed by the counselors, by the kids. They don't want to go home. And that in and of itself helps them deal with their illness waiting for camp next summer.
when we're about to get into an MRI and he knows he has to stay perfectly still for the next 2 hours, he can concentrate, he can get himself there because he's had this great break at camp.
We're providing services for children with life-threatening illnesses at no charge.
I think sometimes in the community there's a misnomer that because the camp was founded by Charlie Wood and Paul Newman, that we're well-funded. And while we are a well-funded institution, it costs over $3 million a year to deliver the services that Double H delivers every single year.
There are a lot of people who give a lot of money to keep this camp going.
I think our community as a whole recognizes that this place has to always be here. It has to.
So many people see what we do and they want to become involved. I've seen people just say, well, I think I'll go up to the camp and take a look around. And when they leave the camp, they're like caught. They're like, oh my God, I can't wait to help.
The devotion of time, it's the greatest gift any individual could give. Their talents, their sense of humor, their patience, their creativity.
I mean, just the generosity of spirit of these people who take their time and go there just to spread more positivity is incredible.
There are a lot of kids who grew up going to camp with their disabilities, who go back and are counselors at camp, who are teachers, physical therapists, social workers, physicians, nurses, psychologists, all because they've learned about taking care of humanity.
As a camper, I was given so much. Like, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't continuously give that back.
When I think about what I hope for Double H for the next 25 years, this is going to sound somewhat selfish, but I hope I'm involved.
What I hope stays the same is the heart of the place.
I go back to my gratitude personally to Charlie and Paul for having the courage and the dream, because with a dream, you don't quite know if it's gonna, come to be. And I think it has exceeded anything that they would have ever anticipated. We believe in the mission, we believe in one another, and we believe in the future.
If there's one thing that you should definitely know about camp is that the love there is unmatched. You won't find as much love in one place anywhere else in the world, I can guarantee.
I would 100% be a different person if I didn't go to camp. It has given me a bigger perspective on life of what life should be about, what things are really important.
The world needs Double H because Double H saves families. I mean, it does. Saved ours.